Yeah, what's on, everyone? You're back with the insiders. It's myself, Matt, with Darren.
Welcome.
We have a cracking episode today that you're all going to love, and it's basically going to be focused on the exciting world of women surfing because I personally think that it's the most exciting thing going on in surfing at the moment is the women and the progression that's going on there. And at the end of the episode, we have an amazing special guest that you'll find out about. But just beforehand, Daz, how you doing?
Good, Matt. Like like you saw previously, I was on the beach in my wetsuit at 11 o'clock, which was exactly when our podcast was supposed to start. And I asked this guy, and he's like, "Yeah." And I raced home. I told you to start without me. So it's Christmas Eve. We had 6 foot offshore, and I'm telling you, there was a few girls out there today as well. So, I mean, when I left Australia 24 years ago, which is a pretty long time, the Sunshine Coast was already a little bit of a hot spot for women surfing. We had a few really good women surfers back in the day. There was Connie Nixon, who I think went on the world tour. Then there was Hayley Tasker, also went on the world tour. But they were kind of just one girl each time. Where
Yeah,
now, when I've gone back there the last few times, the lineup's packed. I mean, the water's really warm there. This is a really good spot for grommets to surf, as opposed to Europe, which I think is a lot harder for young kids. And then I would say, not saying that girls aren't as strong in warm in cold weather, but I just think there's still a misogynistic and even maternalistic approach to probably a young girl that wouldn't be let's get her out surfing in 5'3" booties in the snow.
yeah, and I don't. I think your point about the parent side of things is a strong point actually because you know you would be kind of like, are you sure you want to go out? It's freezing. There's a girl in England. Her name's Alice Barton, and she's sick. She won Boardmasters last year and stuff, and she's her mentality wise, her dedication wise, she surfs. She's from Wales. She surfs absolute junk. She surfs big stuff, small stuff. When it's windy, when it's snowing, and every day as well. She's in the gym, but with a surf program in mind, and she's sick. Like, so her dedication's there. But yeah, in the UK, like in my local lineup, I wish I saw more women. Like for the fact that there's no reason not to. We have a couple. We have a really old woman called Mary who longboards, and she's sick, but she's from America. Um, but yeah, I think that the progressional side of things, when we talk about finals day at Trestles, the women's surfing for me was more exciting than the men's. When we talk about Pipe Masters, that's just happened, the Vans Pipe Masters, I thought the competition between the women and the progression that they made and the steps forward they made and the tenacity in the women was more impressive. There was more interference calls and more drop-ins by the women than the men, and that's not because they didn't know what they were doing. It's because they wanted it.
Well,
Like,
the men have been ripping and had so much opportunity at that break over so many years that now that you see that the progression will only come in small increments because they're already at an incredibly high level and they've had so much exposure. Where the women who've had a lot less exposure, their progression will come in huger increments.
mm,
And that's what we saw. Like Carissa got like the high score of the event, and rightly so.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think do you know what? I think women and like I think they're gnarlier than men, man. Like some of the things like that that you have to go through. as a girl, that we would never understand. And um,
They've been dealing with it for millennium,
yeah,
man.
I know. And
Bringing up children at the house, which was like, let's say, from the 1900s to the 1970s, having to be at home while your husband hides out at work. Because I'm telling you, bringing up children at home is way harder than going to work. I'm not saying that going to work isn't hard, but they had to do it all and grin and bear it. Where now
yeah,
they can do both.
yeah, and so okay, I guess a little spoiler alert at the end of this episode, or at the end of this little chat. Me and you were very, very fortunate to have our first female guest, which is Sophie McCulloch, recent Haliva champion and World Tour qualifier. And at the end, on her do and don'ts, she says something which basically is, don't judge a book by its cover. But she framed it as, someone could be having a bad day. It could be a doctor, it could be that, or it could be someone that you're going to need in a different walk of life. But I felt like that could have also come from a place where she's quite short, she's blonde hair, female. How many lineups, how many times in her life has little Sophie paddled out and been told to get out, been hassled, been dropped in on, been snaked before they've even seen her surf, and then she probably rips better than anybody else out there. And we might have the opposite. You might paddle out somewhere and someone go, okay, that guy's a 6'2", paddles decent. He's gonna be good. Whereas almost everywhere she goes, it's probably like, oh, she's a girl, like, which is just so wrong.
And it's also so funny because as soon as we get to our feet, we can instantly see that these dudes are Joe Blows, and instantly when she gets to her feet, even though it would be a little bit less because Sophie's going to have stickers all over her board. She's going to be paddling faster than the person next to her. So Sophie comes from like my home beach area, Matt. Like literally, she's from Alexandra Headlands, and I was Maroochydore. It's less than a kilometre.
Yeah.
Now this is standard 0 to 3 foot for 11 months of the year, and then not 11 months of the year, but there'll be 30 days of the year where the surf's going to get bigger than 3 foot. It's a super good spot to be that ripper when you're young because the water's minimum like 20 degrees. So it's a really great place to learn. It's a really good place to progress as a grommet. But the big problem always was for the local rippers there was when it got to the world stage, then you got to go surf all these different waves, colder water, bigger surf, and not all of them could adapt. Where we saw with her, she had to win the last comp of the year at Haleiwa, and she took out like 2 local Hawaiian girls in their backyard.
Yeah. And she was the standout throughout the event. There was no way a fluke. It was like every heat she was laying down big scores, good waves. So she's definitely
the only hard thing, I think, and it didn't really touch me so much because like I was fully going for Sophie because she's from my hometown and also Australian. But I did really feel for Teresa.
Yeah, Bonvalot.
Exactly. Because she had a huge year too. She didn't make the tour. Now she'll get first crack wild card from what I read.
She has, yeah.
But do you think there's less of a chance for one of the girls on tour to get injured than there is from the guys because there's a smaller amount of people, or what?
Yeah, I mean statistically, yeah, there would be because there's less numbers. But I think the way that they all surf and the way that they all train, like, is all equal. And last year, India Robinson got concussion. Steph had COVID, had to pull out. And then on the guys' side, you had Lobby break his ankle, and then Carlos Munez injure himself in the event. So
So for Teresa, the smart thing would nearly be to just follow the tour around the whole
100%.
year anyway,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
go spend if you can, post up in Hawaii, train as if you're going to be in it, be prepared. But then with the new WSL ruling, there's almost no point as well because as a wild card, she gets no points. She gets the only thing she gets is the benefit of surfing in a WSL event.
Yeah, which is interesting, huh? Because when they gave it to her, they hadn't said that yet,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
sure that when she saw that, she'd say, "Oh, but maybe that will give me a chance to get on it." And unless they increase the numbers, like everyone said, yeah, you'll get there. And let's say she does get there, but top five on the sea, making the top five is a hard call, huh?
yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, if you
Especially with the new generation coming through. Because if you've been on the tour for a couple of years, okay, but you've got Sierra Kerr and
yeah,
her crew coming through. They're not even 18 yet, and they're winning.
I'm curious to see what happens because last year Moana obviously won pipe, and is she even going to be in it this year? Does she get the chance to defend her title? And then if she is and she wins it again, where do the points go? Because if she,
I absolutely can't see them not giving her a wild card for pipe. They
yeah,
have to be crazy to not give her a wild card for pipe.
but but then if she wins it, where do the points go? It's like, um, but
Somewhere I agree with that. Like they didn't make the world tour.
I
They
do
get a wild
I
card.
do agree as
It's a
well.
standalone event for me that they're on the thing. Somehow I even thought with Barron got lucky, and he deserves to be there.
Yeah, but if
But
you're right, if Barron started this year, he wouldn't have qualified because he's nowhere on the Challenger Series.
yeah, well, he didn't qualify, so somewhere he probably shouldn't have been on the tour anyway.
Yeah, if he didn't win Sunset, I mean he done well at Pipe, but if he didn't win Sunset and make the cut, he's not requalifying, and then Barron's not on it. And I love Barron, and I think he's sick, and I think he's going to be in with a chance at Pipe.
Well, I think that they'll give it to Moana, and now I don't think she's a clear cut favourite anymore
No,
anyway.
unless it's
Because
massive. If it's
yeah,
big,
because
if
they're
it's
coming
really
back, and
big,
if it switches to pipe, there's not too many other goofy footers that have got her, or none of them have got her experience out there, or potentially a technical ease in those sort of waves. But if it swings on swell direction and backdoor starts lighting up, you've got a big list.
yeah. Oh,
You got
definitely.
Steph, you got Isabella Nichols, you got Molly now, you
Yep.
got Carissa, you
Katie.
got you've got yeah, but I'm talking about the rights because I don't necessarily see that. See that that's the next step for the girls is to step up the backhand tube riding. And honestly, unless they've got like an extremely busy schedule, which they do, but somehow like this is their job, is you gotta book a trip to somewhere where it's backhand barrels.
Yeah.
If it's whether it's a wave pool or not, but I think you'd be better off going to somewhere like Indo.
Loads of people have said that Kelly's pool is a very, very technical barrel to ride. Um, and a good place to essentially do some training. And I think the guy at Jimmy or whatever his name is, who does urban surf, said that he's had a few people there go there, like a few Challenger Series women go there and ask to be put on the hell barrel setting just so they can practice technique, which is a good, like it's better than not doing anything, right? So
Oh, it's an
um
incredibly good. It's an incredibly good tool because
yeah,
basically what they're trying to do is to get that pig dog
yeah,
backhand stance. Afterwards, it's not going to help you so much because it's more a thing of timing
yeah,
in the ocean. But they've only got that first event, which is pipe, which is left, and then it's not until they requalify, and then Chopu's and a whole other
but kettle of fish.
exactly. But as long as the ladies and most chances will be they run the ladies in up to 6 foot perfect Chopu, which is what we've seen a different kettle of fish again to 10 foot Chopu. Like two to 6 foot Chopu, if you're a good backhand barrel rider, you're going to get there and clean up the rest of the field.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah. So I'm excited for the World Tour next year for the women's. I think that the additions like Sophie, Molly, and all of that are going to be sick. And I reckon this is the perfect chance to say we're going to shut up. Let's dive into speaking to Sophie. Hope everyone enjoys it. And yeah, this is Sophie McCulloch with us. Welcome to the Insiders podcast. This is obviously just a little thing that me and Darren do, and we've spoken to some crazy people, and we're like stoked to have you on as well. Actually, our first female guest.
Oh, cool! That's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm about that. Awesome.
yeah. We've been like just luckily kind of through people had people say, "Oh, you should chat to this person or that person or this person," and weirdly, it's always been a guy, and then Darren was like, "I want to get Sophie," and I was like, "Yes, yes, yes," and stuff. So, but you've been out tonight. How was your drinks? How was your Christmas drinks?
Yeah, it was good. I just went to my coach's place actually, here on the sunny coast, and just he's got three little boys, and we were there with another family. And yeah, just a couple of drinks, nothing crazy, and yeah,
Yeah,
just back home now. Just yeah, excited to get to bed and then wake up and do the whole Christmas thing tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. Well, your Christmas is going to be a lot sweeter this year, I guess. Now that you got
Yeah,
your qualification.
yeah, it's definitely yeah, I'm definitely just trying to lap up every moment at home and the excitement of my last result. So yeah, it's really good. And yeah, I guess once Christmas is over, I know I'll be yeah, right back into switching on for the first event. So yeah, it's extra special this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you I think it's quite cool though, like listening to yourself and to a couple of other people. We luckily yesterday spoke to Maxime Housineau, and 2 days ago spoke to Liam O'Brien. So those podcasts are gonna come out soon. And all three of you now have kind of said the same thing, is actually it's kind of a time to switch off. Is like qualifying's great, super excited for pipe and for next year, but switch off, re-energize. And is that kind of the motivation?
Yeah, it's honestly been really hard for me to adjust being home because I was away for 3 months, and then yeah, now since I've been home, it's just been a whirlwind of like interviews and
Yeah,
media, then wanting to like, watching the Pipe Masters and wanting to be able to train for that straight away, and yeah, try and just get back into a routine at home of training and stuff. And earlier this week, I just kind of had a moment and I was like, wow, I actually haven't switched off, and I know that I need to. So
yeah, that's
the last
strong.
been like, they've still been like busy, but just way mellower. Like the intensity has been just,
Mm.
yeah, just lowered a lot. Because yeah, I know I kind of came to the realization I was like trying to train and do everything I can and just say yes to people, yes to catching up with friends because I've been away for so long, yes to media. And I was like, holy crap, if I keep going like this, I'm just going to be burnt out. So
Yeah,
yeah, Chris, definitely a time to just switch off. And I think, yeah, the boys are right in saying that it's what we need to be able to switch on again when the time's right.
yeah. Well, it was one of those things because I assumed that you would be quite uh heavily contacted to be doing interviews and stuff, especially after your result. And I listened to your really good episode on Lipped with Chelsea, and I kind of was like, well, I want to make this different to all the normal questions of like, oh, well done, you done well in Halley, and you got the comps coming next year. How excited are you and stuff like that? So it was kind of like I thought to myself, you're going to be by the time we chat, you're going to be asked these questions 100 times, you know.
Yeah, I've got
So,
them rehearsed.
yeah. So I'm a bit of a I'm a bit of a board geek, and I did want to ask you about how much of an influence your coach or John Pizell has on your boards, and whether they're going to help for pipe. But then I noticed on your Instagram you talk about mellowing out a little bit over the last couple of days. What board was you riding today or yesterday? Maybe your time, because that looks
Yeah, that was a twin fin I have. Just a little fun board just to ride around home and stuff. With the channel bottom. So yeah, there's no waves at home on the Sunshine Coast at the moment. So it's just an epoxy fast little fun board, just keep things lighthearted because yeah, it's 1 foot. So it's tiny, but I'm just the biggest frother, so I just want to get in the water anyway, and it's hot, so it's just so nice to be in the water. And I know that like there's honestly no relevance trying to take my normal shorties out there because it's not like it's nothing compared to the waves that I'm going to be competing in. So yeah, this board's just something that I have to just go surfing and have fun doing it.
Does when you take that out, when you like, when you wax it up and you paddle out on that, does that almost like help almost take you away from comp mode, thinking, well, I'm on a fun board, kind of?
Yeah, it's exactly right, because yeah, it's funny that we call them fun boards because I have fun surfing all the time, like whether it's on a normal shorty or not. But I think you develop the headspace around, oh, okay, this is my fun board. You just kind of just go surfing because you want to. As opposed to like if I was on my shorty, I'd be like, oh, okay, like I'll try this turn, or I'll take this approach to this wave, or this feels a certain way, or I'll try different fins next time. Like you just can't help but have those thoughts when you're on a board that you might be competing on. But because it's a board that I know has no relevance to the waves that I'm going to be surfing and no relevance to the way I'm going to be surfing when I'm in a heat, it's kind of, it just kind of takes the weight off a little bit.
Yeah, you can actually be like, well, I don't need to worry about whether I just put that turn or why those fins just done that. Yeah, that's cool. Do you do the thing that I do whenever I surf a little twin fin like that? Is I just try and surf as much like Steph as possible?
I kind of just like to take my own approach. It allows you to kind of tap into your creative side and draw different lines. So whether it's come from something that you've seen Steph do or not, like she's amazing on a twin fin, it's just kind of about creating your own way of approaching a wave. But I kind of, because I'm like try and be a little bit steezy and channel my inner Steph, but deep down I know I'm never going to look as cool as her on a twin fin, so I'll just keep trying to my way.
Well, I don't know how she does it, but she makes normal shorties look like they should be as fun as twin fins, but she's like, in my opinion, one of the coolest. Sorry, my dog's just joined me.
No, it looks like a cute dog. Steph's a
big lump.
She's the kind of surfer that just makes you want to go surfing, which is kind of the biggest compliment I feel.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, while we're talking boards, have you got because obviously you surf for Pizell, right? So
yes,
that's in my opinion, it's probably a big advantage in Hawaii, having a Hawaiian shaper. Does he get involved a lot with what you surf and the sizing, or is it more you and your coach, or how do you work that out?
It honestly feels like a massive advantage. It just takes the weight off a little bit knowing that I can travel to Hawaii and have boards waiting for me shaped by John. Like, I definitely feel very grateful for that. And he has a bit to do with, I pretty much get all my Hawaii boards shaped there. And he does have a little bit to do with that. But when I got home, I pretty much went straight to the factory here in Oz. Because most of my boards get shaped here in Oz, so they know kind of what I'm after. And I took my coach Jay Bottle Thompson with me. And we kind of just sat down with those guys here and nutted out what boards I wanted shaped here in Australia and what boards I wanted shaped in Hawaii. And just John was really great before I left Hawaii. In December, he just said, just let me know what you need and I'll shape it for you. So that was kind of like his input. And then once I'd had my meeting with Bottle and with the guys here in Australia, I just kind of sent a message to John and say, look, this is what we were thinking, and then he kind of had his little input, and now I get boards here in Oz and boards in Hawaii. So I'm really happy and I'm so grateful to be a part of the Paizel team.
Yeah. So what will you be? Generally, I'm guessing you're going to be on a Ghost, right?
Yeah, I rode a Ghost at Haleiwa, and it's honestly my favorite board, and I almost never get to ride it here in Australia. So I'm looking at having mainly Ghosts for the entirety of the first half of this year, and step up a model called the Next Step as well, which I'll probably ride at sunset depending on the size. But I definitely really feel like I gel with the Ghost, so I'm really excited to get more of them under my feet.
Yeah, the Ghost is the go. I surfed the Ghost this year in when I went to see Darren in France, because I'm based in the UK, so we never get Ghost waves. And I went to see Darren in France, and luckily got to surf the Ghost there. And I'd never felt that comfortable in. I mean, it wasn't huge in terms of what you're used to, but it was kind of like 6 foot, 7 foot France. And I'd not surfed the board before, paddled out on the Ghost, and even wave one, like locked in, and was kind of like, how does this do this? Because it's pintail, quite pulled in, but it paddles super easy. And I was like, this is mad. So I can understand. It's one of my favorite boards I've used this year. So that's sick.
Yeah, I definitely have the exact same experience with the Ghost. I just feel like I can trust it, and I think as a surfer going into competition, that's the best quality that you can have in a board, is just to be able to trust it and know that it's the right board for those conditions. If you've got that in the back of your head, then I guess that's one worry that you're not going to have, because when you're competing, there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes up. So you can have faith in your boards. I think that's a really good step towards getting a good result.
Yeah, for sure. Have you surfed much at Pipe, or?
I had a couple of sessions there last year, 2021, and then this year, 2022. To be honest, I don't have a lot of experience out there, but I will be going back to Hawaii early January to get as much prep as I can. And I'm just excited to get the opportunity to surf the wave with 2 others out, and just try and push myself as much as possible and learn as much as I can in those half-hour heats.
Yeah. And will you try and lean on, like, your obviously Jay, your coach, or fellow competitors for like little bits of tips and stuff? Because it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? You've got friends who probably want to help you, but at the same time you're going to be competing against them.
Jay's Bottles won't actually be there for the Pipe event, but one of the other Australian coaches, Anthony King, will be, so I'll definitely lean on him a lot. And I'm also going to be staying at the O'Neill house, and I know that there's a lot of guys and coaches there that I'll be able to kind of just ask any questions I really want to. And I'm basically just going into this Hawaii winter season with the intention of being a sponge and just trying to lap up as much knowledge from whoever I can and take that and run with it. So I'm lucky that I'll have a lot of access to a lot of knowledge over there, and I'm just going to try and make the most of that.
Well, you are one of the more, well, I don't know, let me rephrase that. You're very intelligent, whether it comes to your surfing, which it comes across, or studies in just general as well. Have you finished your university studies now?
Yeah, I graduated last June, so I've been finished for over a year now.
What did you graduate with?
I did a double major, bachelor in marketing and a bachelor in biomedical science.
That's madness. Because I was listening to this. I kind of wanted to explain to you how it works in England. So in England, university, you do one subject. That's your, I think you can try and do two, but everyone just does one. So the fact that you done two, majored in them, and competed at a stupidly high level of surfing, it is mind blowing. And honestly, it's inspiring. I kind of think to myself, come, Matt, you got someone who's just qualified for the world tour, who's got two university degrees. I'm sure you could do what you need to do. So I think it's sick.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess it kind of I want to say it happened by accident, but that's not the truth because it does take a lot of hard work. But yeah, I graduated grade 12. And I kind of just came to the conclusion I was like, I'm not done with learning yet. Like I want to keep learning, so I may as well start university. And I've always been interested in the human body, and so that's what drew me to the biomedical science degree. And then I was kind of saw that a double major was a opportunity, and I was like, well, I guess marketing's good to have in this day and age, so I'll do that one as well. And then I did my first 2 years full time, and then I dropped back to part time when things started ramping up on the QS. And then I feel like with COVID, I don't know about everyone, but with a lot of people I speak to, there was definitely like a silver lining. And for me, that was the ability to go full-time university again because we weren't able to travel and compete. So that was like the blessing in disguise with COVID for me. Was I was like, oh, okay, I can't travel and compete, so I may as well just go full-time university again. And then all of a sudden I was finished and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I'm done now. Now I can
Yeah.
just fully focus on surfing. So it definitely, like within that, there was definitely like a lot of hard times, like trying to defer exams or trying to get assignments finished on time so that I could then focus on an event if it clashed with the due date of the assignment. And a whole lot of organization and communication involved with my tutors and lecturers, and a lot of missed time in the laboratory at uni and stuff. So I did feel like a fish out of water through a lot of it. But yeah, I still kind of got to the end of my degree and I was like, oh, okay, I'm finished now. That's pretty cool. And then now that I've qualified, I'm really excited to be able to sort of share that part of my story and sort of be able to communicate to kids and parents around the world that, oh, I don't, in Australia, it's definitely possible to do both at once. You can study or you can work and compete at the same time and achieve your dreams. So I'm really proud of that. And I'm stoked that you asked me about it. So thank you.
No, you should be. You should be. It's a massive achievement, and you're 100% right as well. There's programs in England. I heard you speak about it on the previous episode or previous podcast where you say about universities having like high performance athlete programs and stuff. And even in England, there's universities that do purely online courses because of the day and age we live in. So it's definitely possible, and it's honestly massively inspiring to even to someone like me who's not going to university but for other walks of life. I'm kind of like, yeah, I work a 9 to 5 day job, but what do you want? What else do you want to do? With that, biomedical science and marketing, where does that, say, for example, the WSL no longer exists? What career path does Sophie McCulloch want to be going into?
Yeah, that's funny. I get asked that all the time. They're like, oh, that people are always like, that's a bit of a mixed bag. Like, where does that overlap? And it doesn't really overlap within the degree itself. I kind of originally I wanted to do occupational therapy. And I kind of felt like I got to like the final moment where I was about to submit my preferences for university, and I was like, oh, but I don't really know if I just want to be narrowed down to that. So I went and did like a bit of research, and I found that the university that I went to, the University of the Sunshine Coast, had this dual degree, which is a bachelor in business and a bachelor in science. So they don't overlap whatsoever. However, from a career perspective, I know that you can get into like medical sales, which I guess is where it does overlap. However, if I want to, I can just take the marketing route, or I can take the biomedical side. So yeah, I guess it's achieved everything I wanted my degree to achieve, which was to just keep my options way open. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in, I guess, the medical sales side of things.
Yeah. Well, talking about the Sunshine Coast and talking about bachelors, Darren's here.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening. How was your surf?
It was pumping, Sophie. You have to excuse me too. I was out the back and I was thinking she'll excuse. It was 6 foot A-frames stiff offshore.
That's much better than the sunny coast is right now. So I do excuse you. I wish I could have been surfing those waves today.
What's it like there?
It's about half a foot. Yeah.
Hey, so you live where, Alex?
Alex Headland, yeah.
So here's a good question. How did a girl from Alexandra Headlands, whose home break is at Barry Bluff, beat Carissa Moore and Betty Lou Sakura at pumping Haleiwa?
The Bluff, it's the perfect training ground, I'm telling you.
Where did that performance in bigger power waves come from?
I don't really know. I got to surf Haleiwa a lot last year in 2021. Even though I lost first heat in the event, I still kind of put my time in out there even after I got knocked, and pretty much fell in love with the wave. So I think that definitely played into it this year. But I'm only 2 hours from the Gold Coast, and I know it doesn't pack the same punch as over in Hawaii, but there are a lot of steeper right hand points down on the Gold Coast. So yeah, I think the training that I put in there, it definitely paid off as well.
Even sunny coast, when there are waves, it is hollow.
Yeah, if you find the right waves, then yeah, it can be hollow, but I would definitely not describe the Bluff as a hollow wave, even when it is 6 foot.
Yeah. But Watala is. Mooloolaba can be. Platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Watala is amazing. I got a lot of time to surf there this year and last year. So hopefully we get some swell there actually before I head back to Hawaii.
So we're board geeks. What board were you riding at Haleiwa? Because honestly, I'm not saying this because you're from the sunny coast, but I probably would have said it if you weren't anyway. But for me, when you look at the highlights, you were the standout in the women's. So, and equipment does play a big part in it. You just looked in sync.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I was riding a 5.9 Ghost Paizel
5.9.
the whole event. 5.9 is a 4-inch step up for me. So yeah, it was definitely a bigger board.
5.9 is the same size as my skateboard.
But yeah, like I said before, I love that board, and I never get to ride it at home. So when I do get to ride it, it's amazing. And yeah, massive credit to John and also the shapers here in Oz that, yeah, honestly, that board just feels like it's a match made in heaven out at Haleiwa. So yeah,
I've got it, guys.
I did.
So are you sponsored by Paizel?
Yeah. I am, yeah.
Okay, sick. Where's their headquarters in Australia? Gold Coast?
Yeah, it's on the Gold Coast.
I think I went into the shop there at Coolangatta. They had a ton.
Yeah, it would have been called Surfboard Empire.
Yeah, on the corner. It's on the corner across the road from the Coolangatta pie shop, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. And they've also got a factory out the back of Tweed.
And you're also sponsored by O'Neill, I see, which is American company. Where's their headquarters in Australia?
Their headquarters is in Sydney in Australia. So Rob Bain is my team manager, and he's an absolute legend. So yeah, I'm stoked to be representing O'Neill.
How long have you been with O'Neill?
Probably about 6 years now. Yeah. So since I was 18, I didn't get a main sponsor until I was 18, and O'Neill took me on board, and they're sticking by me, which is really exciting.
And like, you're the only Aussie girl with O'Neill on the world tour. You're the only Australian O'Neill on the world tour.
I am, yes.
And I had another one. I was just so you were saying before with your degree, that's 2 Sunshine Coast girls that are super brains on the world tour. Are you friends with Isabella?
I had dinner with Isabella last night. We're good buddies. Yeah, we definitely relate to each other a lot. A, with the competitiveness, and B, with the I guess the desire to study. So yeah, we get along really well, and I'm stoked to be able to travel the world with her next year. And yeah, she's probably one of my biggest inspirations, and watching her knuckle down and really strive towards completing her engineering degree is really cool. So I'm stoked to see her do that, and hopefully get to have a couple of heats with her next year.
You grew up competing against her?
Yeah, we did. She's always the year above me, so we kind of overlapped a little bit. And then obviously she qualified for the world tour a few years ago, so we haven't really overlapped too much since then. But yeah, we grew up doing regional districts, regionals, state titles together. She actually traveled with my older sister a little bit too throughout school. So yeah, we definitely go way back. So we've got a good friendship, and yeah, I'm excited. She always lets me stay at her place down on the Gold Coast when I want to go and train. And yeah, we've already booked in to be staying together in Portugal for the event there. So yeah, we've got a lot of good years to come, I think.
Yeah.
So that was a big inspiration for you when she got on tour?
Oh, absolutely. And then watching her at Margaret River this year was just huge. I remember I had to pull over because I was driving at the time, and I was like, I can't watch this final and try and drive at the same time. It's highly illegal. But yeah, I pulled over, and she won Margaret River to make the cut, and I was just sitting in my car, like pretty much crying my eyes out. And then after I won Haleiwa, she sent the exact same thing. She was like sitting by herself, crying her eyes out. She sent that to me. So it's really cool that we're able to support each other in that way. And yeah, I can't wait to watch her compete next year, and hopefully get to compete against her as well. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that you basically, you almost copied her with how you qualified and her thing. I wanted to ask you. You mentioned it earlier about watching and seeing the Pipe Masters, and for me, the Pipe Masters that they've just ran, the women's performance especially was the highlight. Looking at the final, and you saw that it was Carissa versus Katie, Betty, and Molly, and obviously Molly won. How excited are you for women's surfing? And obviously you talk about inspiring the next generation of girls who can qualify for the World Tour, but also become geniuses in different fields. How excited does that make you for women's surfing?
Yeah, it's so exciting. And watching the Pirate Masters, I didn't really know what to expect, and watching all the girls kind of not only send it, but I think more so just support each other, and really root for each other as well was really cool. And then also watching the guys really support the women as well. It's come such a long way, and it's something that's really cool to be a part of. And I guess, yeah, when I was watching, I was kind of getting itchy feet going, oh, I just want to be there. I want to be amongst it. So I think now that kind of surfing and those kind of performances are starting to become the norm in women's surfing, the next generation of girls coming up are going to have that to look to. So I think in the next 10 years, it's just going to be amazing to see the progression. And because considering like when I was growing up, we were watching the girls were never surfing at Pipe. They never had the opportunity. They were surfing at Honolulu, which was amazing. And they were surfing amazing then, but to now like have girls grow up going, okay, if I want to be on the world tour, I need to surf Pipe. So I need to prepare for that. It's going to be really cool to see what comes next, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. And yeah, hopefully I can do my part and just try and send it when I'm over there.
You reckon the 5'9" Ghost will cut it, or you might have to step up to 5'11"?
We'll see. We'll see what the forecast presents, but I've definitely ordered a few boards over 5'9". I think I'll be trying to definitely get myself onto some longer boards for sure.
Have you surfed Sunset much?
I have, yeah. I surfed it a bit just recently while I was there, and I jumped on my 6.0 and also my friend's 6.2, and yeah, it's definitely a really tricky wave to figure out, and paddling in when it's offshore is really challenging. So I'm excited to just get over there and try and figure out the little tricks to these waves and do everything I can to make sure that I perform when the time's right.
I guess you could always, if you're not scared of getting your ear chewed off, ask Kong for a few tips.
He's actually my neighbor, so maybe I could take you guys over there right now and ask him a few questions. But yeah, no, Kong's he's a ball of energy, and I'm
Mr.
sure
Sunset.
I haven't run into him yet, but I kind of hope I do, because like I said before, I just want to be a sponge and take all the little bits of knowledge that I can from all different people that are willing to give it.
So Matt, you know, in Australia that the board rider club scene is really strong. Now, Sophie's part of a board rider club called North Shore Board Riders, which is I can't think of the word, but it's a coincidence because you're about to go to the North Shore. Now, I've got it on inside authority that you've won a couple of open men's as well.
Oh, I don't know if I've won any open men's, but I've definitely I've taken a few scalps in the open men's division. I don't think I've won it outright before, but I definitely give it a crack every time. And yeah, I'm so happy to be a part of North Shore. We've got a really good family vibe going on down at the event, and there's a lot of good crew around willing to support, like Shane Bevan and Kong, and like Dimity Stoyle and Keely Andrew both come from that club as well. So there's
Shimmy
a lot
Disco.
of depth. Yeah, Shimmy Disco. She's
and Keely as well. That's like usually be unstoppable in the female division.
Yeah, it's funny. Now that I won't be able to compete in the Australian Board Riders Battle next year, it's not actually too bad, because the club know that they've got Dimity and Keely to turn to, and even Holly Williams, who's coming up through the Challenger Series as well. So yeah, I'm stoked to represent that club, and their support and love has been amazing. So yeah, I'm super grateful to them, and all the people that make each club round event happen. It's really cool, and yeah, it's really good for the Groms on the sunny coast as well, just to be able to compete against each other every month.
So why is your club called North Shore?
It was started by some people from Brisbane, which is south of the Sunshine Coast. So these people from Brisbane would drive to the North Shore, which is the Sunshine Coast, to have club events.
Sick. Well, look, what we do on our podcast every single time we speak to someone, a bit like you said about being a sponge, is we ask a do and a don't, a surfing do and a surfing don't from yourself to everybody, to kind of just help them. We're all kooks in certain times of our lives. So what would your surfing do's and don'ts be?
Oh, that's so tricky. I've never been asked something like that before.
It can be anything, can be wax your wax your deck grip?
Yeah.
Do would be to just have fun and be willing to have a chat to anyone out in the water. Because when you're surfing, there's a lot of people that want to chat, and you can sometimes get caught up in your own little world. But I think if you're open to having a chat to people, then you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah.
So that would be my do. My don't. Wow, there's actually a lot of don'ts. It's hard to choose from.
A huge list.
Yeah.
Don't. Oh dear. Don't judge a book by their cover when you're out in the water, which I guess is similar to have a chat to anyone. But I think a lot of the time when you're out in the water, you can see someone and they might not be that good of a surfer, or they might be struggling. So you might, automatically judge them as being a kook or something like that. But and then, proceed to snake or drop in on them because they don't know what they're doing. But really, you've got no idea who they are. So I think, you got to be able to show respect to everyone, because even like judges have said to me, like in junior comps, like, oh yeah, this Grom just thought I was a nobody, but really this Grom was actually like snaking a judge. So I think, don't judge books by their cover, and show respect to everyone.
I like
It
it.
could be a heart surgeon, and one day down the line, you're going to go into their surgery and say, "Hey, can you look after me?"
Exactly, and then they'll be like, "No, I remember you snaked me, so no, I'm not going to give surgery." So that's a good example. So do be willing to have a chat to everyone, and don't disrespect anyone. Don't judge books by their cover.
One of my friends out in the surf today, he's like the oldest, classic, grumpiest local. He's also the best, one of the biggest hellman at this spot that I surf. And I'd been on a roll. I got like, I don't know, 10 in a row over 2 hours. And I was asking him what size board he was riding. And he was like, "Can you stop fucking asking me questions?" Because he couldn't get away. But I thought it was a classic. Right? I said to him, "It's Christmas Eve, man."
We're all guilty of it. Though. You just kind of get in your rut, and you just don't want to talk to anyone. So it's honestly easier said than done, for sure.
So what are your plans for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Christmas. I'm going to eat all day, pretty much. That's my plan.
I think we're about to run. I think we're about to run out of time, Sophie. Thanks so much, huh?
Thank you, guys. It was good to chat.
Hell good. Thank you very, very much. We got this live, and good luck for next year.
Cool. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you guys when I come to France or England next time.
Yeah, send me a message when you're coming to France.
Of course, yes. All right, thank you.
Have a good Christmas.
Double shackers, everyone.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to the episode, and just like to thank boardshop.co.uk for supporting us and giving us these mics that we can now get better quality for you guys on. And thanks for being there all year with helping us with all of our surf needs, from wetsuits, boots, boards, accessories, and everything else we need. Yeah, fellas, thanks very much.